my pleasure to introduce our next storyteller, who says this about their favorite Jewish food. My favorite Jewish food is bagels and lox without the lox. I don't like seafood, but love cream cheese, capers, onions, and lemon on a bagel. This was always a special treat as a child. Please welcome Dana Bartocci.
I'm a widow. This is a humor fest, I get that. My husband died on our son's 3rd birthday, 2 weeks after our daughter turned 1. I don't often get to talk about the day he died because of you all. What did he die of? How old was he? Are you still single? Because my cute Jewish son still needs a lady. You may not get the answers to your questions today because I've got the mic. I knew I was taking him home that day when I drove to the hospital. Sunroof open, windows down in July, music blaring to the hospital. Walked into the hospital and was hit with that hospital smell. Nasty hospital food mixed with that like Ecolab hand sanitizer stuff. But I kept walking, knowing that this was the last time I was going to be around the work and the sounds and the noise of a hospital. I was taking him home on hospice. I walked to his door and peeked in, and he didn't move, and I walked closer to the bed. He didn't acknowledge me. He didn't even know I was there. He never did that day. I finally let myself acknowledge what I hadn't let myself acknowledge, that he was dying. I was filled with fear. How was I going to go at it alone? How was I going to be a single mom? How was I going to start a John Deere lawnmower that I never learned how to start? And now I was going to need it because the only thing for sure in life in Minnesota is death and lawn mowing. And maybe snow blowing, but I was going to save that fear for the next season. I got through some fears, and knowing what I knew, one would think I'd go to his side and hold his hand and be with him. But it was our son's 3rd birthday, so logically, I should be planning a 3rd birthday party. So I start making all the calls for the 3rd birthday party. Friends we haven't seen in a while, with the underlying theme that we're also going to say goodbye to Matt. Balloons, check. Cake, check. Friends, we're getting it all. Friends we haven't seen in forever. They were all pitching in to make this happen. I swear Matt didn't make it home from the hospital that day because he didn't want to attend this party. Matt's favorite party tricks, you couldn't find him because he left the party early, and finding the one other introvert in the room, standing in the corner and mocking the rest of us. Friends had arrived to help with the party planning, so I was moving on to other things, real things. Like, how am I going to tell our children that their daddy is dying? A miracle worker, like Glinda the Good Witch, descended. She was a social worker. You guys all have blessed jobs if you're a social worker. She showed up with books and articles and magazines and coloring things, all to share with me so I could teach our children about death and about their father dying. There's a whole industry of making this stuff. Then she started talking to me about this moment that we were going to have that she was planning for us, so that they could feel their daddy's love and take it with them. She started talking about how she has 2 stuffed animals, and she was going to lay them on their daddy, and so when they got there, they'd crawl up and they'd take the stuffed animal with daddy's love in it home. And I hear that audible, it seems really sweet and really moving and touching, until she pulls out the stuffed animals. The first one is a cow. The second one, a beaver. I am laughing hysterically at the beaver. And she's a social worker and she's moving backwards, right? So I'm laughing and laughing and laughing and saying, you seriously want me to, put daddy's love in a beaver, and then have to always say, oh, that's your beaver with daddy's love in it. Tessa, go get your beaver, the one with your daddy's love. Tears are rolling down my face for reasons of the beaver, and the social worker's not understanding what's going on. And I said, you don't understand. Matt and I dealt with everything with humor. When I was having problems in childbirth, it was, come in, welcome to my vagina. When he was diagnosed with cancer, after cystic fibrosis and diabetes, it was bingo, I won disease bingo, what is my prize? Talking to my rabbi about this, he said, Jews deal with hard stuff with humor. That's what we do, and that's what I was doing that day, was dealing with it with humor. In fact, when I went to pick up his ashes later, the person handed me the ashes and said, here's the receipt. And I said, what's that for, in case I want to return it? He didn't get it. But I did. Life is funny. Death is funny. And if we stop remembering that, then I might as well be dying too. I composed myself, and the social worker kind of composed herself, and she said, do you want me to get a different stuffed animal? So no, the beaver's fine. But I hoped that my daughter didn't pick it, so I didn't have to talk to her about her beaver. So later, I'm sure that'll come, she's only 9. So we pulled ourselves together, and Matt took his last breaths a few moments later. I drove home in a storm like you haven't seen. I couldn't see through tears in my eyes, as well as the windshield wipers not even working because the rain was so heavy. I get home and I open the door to a whole bunch of people that I had forgotten I'd invited over to my house. It was chaos. Until a friend pulled me outside. The storm had subsided, and he pointed up to the rainbow. The same rainbow that God showed Noah, the same covenant between me and God, the earth that I was not alone. I never thought Matt woke up that day, but he did. A year later, my friend told me that when I stepped out of the room, he said, I know she's gonna be okay. She has all of you. Which also confirms that he heard me planning the party and didn't want to be there.